Well, hello, and here I am re-recording the information that I passed along on Monday's Ask Me Anything presentation. We had some audio difficulties and it showed up real strongly on the recording, and so I thought I would redo it so that you could actually get the information that I passed along. So here goes. One of the questions that showed up over the last couple of weeks had to do with saving extra acrylic paint. Now, all of you know that acrylic paint dries very quickly, and if you have paint on your palette, it's very hard to be sure that you're going to be able to have that stay good to use, maybe the next day or later. What I like to do is to mix up a lot of the color that I'm planning to work with so that I know that I have at least enough, if not more than enough, of that particular color. And so I use these little containers. They're carry-out sauce containers. You can save them, from your carry-out meals. Just wash them out so there isn't any oil or anything like that in it. And then, also, you can also buy them at restaurant supply stores. There's one in the Milwaukee area, Belter Superstore, which a lot of you are from the Milwaukee area. It's on Port Washington Road, just south of Capitol Drive. And you can get like 250 of these, more than you might ever need, and for just a couple of dollars. So anyway, here's what I do. When I mix my paints, I tend to work with somewhat thinned down paints. And I don't know, it's a little hard to see, but I mix up all of my color, as I said, and usually more than I think I'm gonna need, because you never know. And then I mix a little bit of water in it, and often some liquid matte medium too. When you're thinning your paints, it's better to add a little bit of medium instead of all water to keep the adhesion of the acrylic. Then I seal them up. And this paint has been sitting in here for more than 2 months. So that's my quick tip about saving your acrylic paints to use later. The next couple of questions had to do with color and comparing warm and cool tones or versions, or whatever you might want to call it, of the primary colors. There's something called a double primary palette that works very nicely, where you have a warm version and a cool version of each of your primary colors, and it really helps in the range of what you can mix as you're painting. So I'm going to share screen here because I'm going to show you Gamblin's color chart, the Gamblin. And I work almost exclusively with Gamblin products. They're not the only good quality company out there, but I know Gamblin very well, and that's why I'm showing you their page. You go on any of the paint companies' websites, they will have hopefully good information with a color chart and information about their paints. Now, what's wonderful about here is that there's nice big color swatches right next to each other. And so you can just see with your own eyes whether something is warmer or cooler or even somewhat muted down versus intense. Then if you click into the swatches, you can get further information. So I went into the reds because there's some real extreme differences. Alizarin Crimson is a color that I love to work with. And it tells you here that it is a cool, slightly bluish red with a smoky glaze, Sounds like a wine label. And then also a little farther down, it tells you whether it's transparent or opaque. And that was the other question about colors is how do you find which colors are transparent or opaque? You will also find that information about transparency versus opacity on the paint tube itself. So that's, you know, right there for you. So this is a cool red. And I'm going to jump into a warm red. This is intense, warm, modern red. And so you can see the difference. This is almost orange. And oh, I didn't mention on the alizarin crimson, this side is wonderful because it shows you what the color is like mixed with white. The tint means that it's mixed with white. A tone is mixed with gray. And a shade is the color mixed with black. And so that can show you a little bit more about what the color does, you know, when you're mixing colors with it. And then with Naphthol Scarlet, it tells you that it is semi-transparent. So it's more opaque than the alizarin crimson that I just showed, but it's not considered an opaque color. Okay, those are the two questions that were submitted to me. So be sure, you know, throughout the month, if you think of any art related or art medium related or technique related questions that you think I might be able to help you with, post them on the site, and we'll look up information for you. The rest of what I want to talk about today has to do with the Creative Journeys site itself. And hopefully all of you have sort of gotten familiar with most of the basic functions and navigation of Creative Journeys, but I'm going to show you just a little bit more and where you can find that information or those posts. So here's another screen share for that. When you arrive at the Creative Journeys site, you end up on home, which is the main feed for the site. And what I would recommend, especially for new members or any member that wants a little refresh on finding their way around, is to click into Discovery. This on the left side, this whole list of menu items will lead you through the site. And on the Welcome, Start Here post, there's a lot of information about getting started as a member. And here, I've set it up with screen shares so that you can see what your screen would look like. However, the mobile apps have a different look, but the functionality is the same. So when you enter the site, I'm telling you here that I recommend jumping down to topics. And so that's like in the middle here. And the topics are, it's a way of categorizing some of the different things and subjects and events that happen in Creative Journeys. And I want to suggest that you click on follow for absolutely everything so that you don't miss any posts and so that you don't miss something, an event that's coming up. You can adjust your notifications so that you only receive one email in 24 hours, and it'll group all of the postings in that one email. So you're not going to be slammed with a huge number of individual emails. But that's a way to make sure that you're kept abreast of everything that's happening. And then I talk a little bit about classes and interactive workshops and the theme of the month. And then also the weekly plan. And if there are topics that you would like to add, please let me know and I will put them in. And the topics are meant for you to participate in too. So don't forget to at least comment or post something in them. It would be wonderful to hear what you have to say and see what you have to share with us. Okay, the rest of this, there's the notifications that I just talked about. And then the personal settings is where you can set your notifications so that you won't be hit with a million emails. Now I stopped here in writing this roadmap, but I'm going to write another one about what I'm going to talk about mostly today. And those are two things, groups and courses. So first of all, I'll go to groups. And I've just selected a few subjects that people might want to have groups on. And if you're interested in any of these, just click into it and join it. Okay, now I've already joined all of these, so I won't be able to show you how to join them. But here we have the mixed media group. And the groups are spaces on the site where you can really delve deeply into a particular subject. For instance, mixed media. I work in a whole range of different media. And I love to share information on what I'm doing in these different media. And I would love to have other people join the group and share some of their images and thoughts about it. For instance, this one is a mixed media piece. One of the pieces that I've started with a digital art piece and printed it and painted in mixed media over it. So when you're a member of a group, you will get notified about anything that anyone posts within that group. But people who are not members will not see any of it. So it's quite private. If you have any feelings of vulnerability about sharing your work and things, you can know that only people in this group will see your posting. But it's a way to really start having some real deeper discussions about things related to your particular interest in art. Okay, I have a little bit in plein air painting and fiber art. Joe, my husband, has some things in sculpture. He'd love to get some other sculptors on the site so that he could delve deeply into some of his thoughts on art and sculpture. But even if you don't practice in a particular medium, if you want to join a group, just to join the discussion, you can. There's no real rules about that. So you can see I have a few things in here. And if you have a topic that you'd like to form a discussion group on, something that you really want to try to engage in discussion and sharing with other members, please let me know and I'll create a group for you. But one of the special things about groups, well, two special things about groups, is that they offer the opportunity to delve deeply into the subject, and they also are private to the group members. And then courses. I'm going to start talking about courses under the topics list. The entire list of the courses that I offer is here in the courses and interactive workshops topic. And this is where you could click into the different classes and see if you're interested in them. And there would be a table of contents that'll show you some of what you would be learning and whether it's interactive or if it's an online course. And then if you're interested in joining, you can join through there. And that will take you to my website where I will take the financial side of things through PayPal. And once you are a member of a course, then you will find your course that you're active in over here in courses. And this is another area that is totally private to the members of that particular course. So there's right now, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that none of you, except a very few people, see, because only the people participating in that course are seeing the engagement. I'll just take you through just a little peek into this class, but I don't want to show too much because, as I said, this is private to the members. But this is what the courses look like. You have a table of contents, and the courses and groups are like their own little mini network within Creative Journeys. You have all of the different menu choices over here. So right now we're seeing a table of contents, and then here is an article that I've written to describe the class. And there are some documents that you can download and save. And then each lesson has an introduction and its own activity feed within that lesson. And so I'm just going to go very quickly so that we don't cause a problem with privacy here. But so that shows you what's going on in an activity feed in the course. So now I'm back to the home page of Creative Journeys. I'm out of those little private areas, but I just sort of wanted to show you that there's maybe more going on behind the scenes than you see, and encourage you especially to join some of the groups and start getting some discussion and some interest going with the groups. That's enough words. Okay, that's all I have to tell you today. If you have any questions about any of the things that I discussed, please post your questions underneath this recording, and I will get back to you on it. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. I believe that's August 2nd, but don't quote me on that. I don't have my calendar in front of me. Anyway, for member meetups, and please, please, please come to that. I would love to see all of our members come together to get to know each other. And this one, it's not going to be about me talking at you like all of these other ones are. It's for all of you to get to know each other. If you want to share a piece of your work, if you know how to do it in Zoom, that's great. If you don't, just post your artwork on the home page, the main activity feed, and we can take a look at it during our meeting. But I'd love to start creating a real feeling of community with all of you. And I just love it. Thank you so much. And I will see you next Monday.